Yeah, another great weekend for the Bears. Obviously, we've now won 6 in a row, but kind of going back to the Thursday game, Sacramento State, who, when they came into the bank, I thought they were one of the hottest teams in the league. They've had a unique story in the sense of they've been awesome at home, but they've really struggled on the road. In fact, I don't know if they've won a road game yet. So I don't know how much you can kind of look into that, but I thought that they'd been playing really well. They had 4 games in a row at home. I think they'd won 3 of those 4 games. And we were preparing for their full team. For whatever reason, Mikey Williams was not with them. And so with that in mind, Prophet Johnson, we knew his usage, his workload would go up. One of the best players in the league. And, big picture, I thought our detail, I thought our intensity was great. I thought the game played out similar to the first time we played them, when at their place, we were up 18 with 9 minutes to go, and then we just had a huge collapse. But point being, when we got up 10, 12, 13, no lead is safe. And so we did a good job closing that game out. It was a great win. And then less than 48 hours later, played Portland State. And obviously they come in, totally different deal, where Sac State had not won a road game. Portland State had not lost a road game. They'd won every road game in Big Sky play. And I think our guys came in with a lot of confidence. We lost them at the buzzer last time at their place. And I thought we played really well. They like I said, they hadn't lost a road game all year. It was a close game. The entire game, we got down 9 to start the game. We flipped it, got up 8 in the first half. So in a pretty short amount of time, we were able to kind of plus 17 them. The game tightened up again. And then in the second half, I thought over the last maybe 14 to 16 minutes, I thought we really imposed our will and finished the game strong. So again, a great weekend for the Bears. It's put us back in the middle of the pack where we want to be, and got to keep kind of climbing the rings of this ladders we've talked about, but we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about Quinn for a second. Obviously, you've been special this year from the 16 assist record tonight, and then against Sacramento State, following up with 23 points, 7 assists against Portland State. What have you seen in him in terms of growth as a scorer and floor general, especially in controlling the pace late in the games?
Yeah, obviously those are great performances. 16 assists, I think it's like the 5th most in the history of the Big Sky, and it was the most ever at UNC. But, he's had a great year, had a great start to the year, and then the great start, we're 9-1 and we're 10-3, and then, in that stretch that we started losing, he was still playing good, but it felt like he was almost pressing a little bit, trying to do a little bit too much to will us to win. And we always say greatest strength, greatest weakness, and Quinn's greatest strength is his elite belief level. At the same point in time, I remember during that stretch sitting with him, and we went back and we watched the CU game, just his offensive possessions, and that was one of the best performances, really, probably in school history. And then we watched, I think, his offensive possessions against Sacramento State on the road, and it wasn't that different, but it was different. And so it was like, okay, how do we get back to just doing what the game kind of presents itself to you? And in this most recent 6-game winning streak, I think he's done exactly that. So the 16 assists, really it's just a combination of, he made every right play. He made very simple plays. We talk a lot about singles and doubles. We don't need home runs from our team. We're good enough with singles and doubles. He's done a great job of that, but at the same point in time, going from the 16 assists to then the 23 points 2 nights later, there's a point in time where we need him to score, and I thought he really took over in critical times against Portland State. So he had a great weekend, and he's just playing within himself, and he's playing in a way of saying, okay, this is what the defense is giving me, and utilizing that.
You kind of touched on this briefly in your opening statement, but against Sacramento State, you built a big lead and then you had to respond. You had about a 6-minute scoring drought. And then against Portland State, you answered their 9-point early run with one of your own. What does that say about this group's composure and maturity, that they've been able to withstand those momentum swings and close out both of those games?
That's a good question. And I think obviously basketball is a game of runs. It's you go to the Sacramento State kind of run they had. That was kind of early, middle, second half. I thought we were still playing well, but we just missed some pretty good looks. And there's going to be stretches like that where the way that we play, we're going to make some, we're going to miss some. But during the stretch when the game tightened down to maybe 7, 8, 9, nobody panicked. We just kind of kept playing through it. Even more proud of that Portland State. They jumped out on us 14-6. They jumped out on us 17-8. So, you're struggling early on. You're getting good looks, but you're not making them. They're playing well. But to go from, again, we were down 17-8, we're down 9, and we flipped that thing so quick. That was a great testament to our team's composure and their confidence level. I don't feel like we ever got shaky in that sense, and it was great to see.
Yeah. And then last question for me, you've talked about this throughout the season, how big rebounding is for the outcome of the game. You dominated paint against Sacramento State, and then you won the glass, went 21 of 27 at the line against Portland State. How important has that inside presence and physicality been to sustaining this recent stretch?
Yeah, I think it's been everything. I think, when we went back to the losing streak and we were, down to 1-6 or 1-7, we really looked at it and we said, okay, one of the key categories that had totally changed in our season is early in the season we were out rebounding everybody, including CU, Texas Tech. We were dominant on the glass. And then it changed in that stretch where we were either getting out rebounded or it was really close. And so we had to address that and get better at that. And I think over the last 6 games, we've out-rebounded everybody. Going to your point of scoring more from the free throw line, that was the other thing, is that we were at that point the worst team in the league at getting to the free throw line, and we were also the worst team in the league at putting the opponent on the free throw line. So it's like I told the guys at that point, we're literally walking into every game down 15-0 because teams are getting 23 more free throws than us. So literally we're walking in down 15-0. We play the way we play offensively. We've got to find a way to get to the free throw line more, but more so we need to control our fouling. We got to stop fouling so much and putting teams on the free throw line way too much. And again, our team has responded. The free throw differential has really decreased, and it's gotten much better in our favor. The rebounding is completely flipped in our favor. And it's, like I say, it's not rocket science. It's why we're winning games.
And a few questions from Ann from the Tribune.
Sure.
Teams can put a lot into big games. I'm assuming she means like Portland State.
Sure.
How do you avoid a letdown?
Well, I think for us, we know that one, there's no margin for letdown. Right now we're 7-7. We are far below what we wanted to be and what we thought we'd be at this point in time. We have won 6 in a row. We're excited about it. We've got to fight human nature a little bit, but at the same point in time, we're sitting here in a tie for 5th place, and we're playing a team, Northern Arizona on Saturday night, that beat us last time. So I would be shocked if there was a letdown in the sense of preparation, and then when we do get to play on Saturday night, I know our guys are going to be super excited to, again, you don't have to call it revenge, but just to have a chance to play again. I told them when we played Sacramento State, just that my word was grateful. And like if you're a football coach and you play Sacramento State and you're up in football 24-0 going into the 4th quarter, and you lose 28-24, you don't get to play those guys again until next year because you only play every team once. In basketball, in conference play, you get the home and home. I'm grateful I'm a basketball coach so that against Sacramento State, we lost that first game. We were up 18 with 9 minutes to go. You should not lose that game, but we did. So I was grateful we had a chance to play them again. It's the same thing with Northern Arizona. I'm grateful that we get a chance to play those guys again because we lost the first game, and it was a really disappointing loss for us, and they played really well. But so I think the idea of a letdown, I think this is such a mature group, an old group. Our leadership's great. I don't think our guys are going to allow us to have a letdown.
Yeah, and then we can use this question to preview NAU.
Sure.
She asks, the big weekend is over. How do you continue the momentum for NAU this weekend?
Yeah, well, with this being a Tuesday, the first thing you do is you rest. And so Sundays are always off for us. And a Sunday off on a travel day is still an off day, but it's hard because if you're on the road, and we were not this last weekend, but if you're on the road, you're getting up at like 5 in the morning to catch an 8 a.m. flight somewhere. You're flying, you're driving, you're in the bus, you get back at your house at 3, 4 in the afternoon. By the time you get that laundry flipped, it's dark out. Like it's an off day, but it's really not. So the first thing is, after Portland State, we were home last weekend, which is great. So having a real true off day on Sunday. But then yesterday, which was Monday, we took Monday completely off as well. And we don't do that very often. We said, hey, we do not want you in here unless it's for rehab or ice baths or whatever we need to do in that world. But take a day off. Be a college student. We need your bodies fresh. We need your minds fresh. And then the reason we did that is because we don't play till Saturday. So now, with this being a Tuesday, now we can start to build back up. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have plenty of time to build back up. But as we move into it, it's not necessarily like the letdown after a big weekend. It's just a different week because there's no Thursday game. So we've got to be very careful of saving ourselves from ourselves, doing too much. The guy I played for, Don Meyer, the late great Don Meyer said, and I'm sure he stole this from somebody, but a lot more gold medals are lost by overtraining than undertraining. And at this time of the year, the body and getting the body and the mind, getting us fresh in a week that we don't have a Thursday game. We feel like that's critical. And I know our guys after 2 days off will be really excited to get back on the court here in a few hours and go from there. But it's more so about managing the week so that we're playing really well on Saturday night.